Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope you're getting your week off to a great start. Look, I'm not going to uh, be too long this morning. It's Money Monday. I want to talk to you about some things. Before I get started, there are a couple of things. One of the things that I think we need to do a better job of is preparing our kids to be financially successful. One of the problems that I consistently run into is trying to help adults who have been programmed with faulty paradigms as it pertains to money and finance and success in that area to function and operate in a way that's going to benefit them, to move them from a poverty mindset or a consumer mindset to a wealth mindset, mindset is a task because everything that they think they should be doing is exactly what they shouldn't be doing, but it looks good and it sounds right because that's the social construct under which they are operating, and everybody around them is doing the same thing. Everybody's in the rat race. Everybody's trying to get enough money to buy something to make them feel successful. The idea of symbolism is big. So I think it's important that we start early teaching our children the principles of money, from the simple things about budgeting and responsibility as things escalate, to teach them the difference between a liability and an asset, to teach them the importance of saving and investing, and to use a lot of instruments and resources that are available to do it. What I did several years ago is I got together with a team and we put together the guide. Is um, financial literacy for kids and teens. It's a guide. It's a step-by-step process. And for people who are unfamiliar, or if there are some people in your family who may be adults who aren't practicing good financial responsibility, good financial principles, it's a good idea to teach it to them. It's a simple path. I made it for kids to understand, which means that it should be easy to teach to anybody. And it is available. It is under $10, $9.95. Um, and it should be, I mean, to me, five, six, the moment they start asking for money for stuff, start teaching. Obviously, you limit it based on age and understanding, but start the moment they start asking for money, give them the importance of money. They also eventually need to understand the difference between currency and money. There's a difference, and understanding that is going to be immensely important in the process of building wealth. So, with that out of the way, there are two other opportunities in there. One is for the 7-day online business course. The other is for the Legacy Wealth Academy generational wealth course. Both of those are resources that I think people need to take advantage of, especially if you don't already have a level of financial independence and moving towards financial freedom. If you don't have multiple streams of income that you control outside of your primary source of income, you definitely need to be checking into this. Again, everybody should be, if you got kids or grandkids and you don't have your own system in place of how to teach them about financial literacy, you should get that. $9.95 for the digital download. A lot of extra resources, links in there and stuff of that nature. But check it out. It comes in two forms. You get the PDF and you get the digital flip book that you can look at on your browser and literally flip through it like it's a book. It's a great opportunity, and and there are ways to make this fun. If you don't have at least two independent sources of income, you need to take advantage of the 7-day online business launch course. I've used it to rebuild my entire brand. I wouldn't be giving it to you if I didn't know it worked. It worked for me, and I decided to share it with other people. It's literally how I saved my life. Um, for today only, it was supposed to end yesterday. It was for the weekend. It's back at the promotional price of $397. Starting tomorrow, it goes back up to $5.95. It's worth so much more than that. I'm not going to go into a long dive tribe of selling it. If you want to learn wealth in a very comprehensive way, you need to enroll in the Legacy Wealth Academy. So let's talk about the cost of education and the return on investment, because when I was born, it was still on the back end of the industrial push. So there were plenty of warehouses, plenty of manufacturing plants where Black men specifically could get jobs and take care of their families. And I say that's important because it's this time in which we saw a shift in how our social paradigms and constructs would be molded, and what we would be giving emphasis to in comparison to the past. It used to be that you could graduate school or drop out of school, go get a job, and you can get a job at the plant. People up in the North got jobs at automobile manufacturing plants. Down here, it was the oil plants and power plants and warehouse distribution centers. And if you could drive a forklift, if you could handle machinery, if you could work with your hands, you could make a living that would allow you to support your family. And they would have in the schools auto mechanic shop, wood shop. They would have plumbing and all of these things that people frown upon now. With your average mechanic, your average plumber makes six figures. Now, here's the thing. They, in many instances, got their trades by either becoming apprentices or going to some type of technical institute or whatever, but they paid a fraction of what the average person is going to pay for their bachelor's degree, which can easily amount to, I looked a lot of this up because I wanted to really understand it. The average bachelor degree is about $61,000. That's $61,000 for a 4-year degree. Obviously, you can find some cheaper places, community colleges and things of that nature, but the average cost is $60,000. The average earning is somewhere around $50,000 for someone with a bachelor's degree. That's the average. There's some people earning less, there's some people earning more, but there is a variation and an increase in earning potential based off of educational level. Obviously, a person who doesn't graduate high school makes around $30,000 a year, and that's being generous. I've seen a lot worse. Some college, 40,000, an associate's degree around 43,000, a bachelor's degree 50, 55, 60. Then you get into the master's degrees where you get up to the upper 80s and 90s, and then the doctorate degree is 140, somewhere up in there. And professional doctoral degrees or professional degrees like being an MD or an attorney, 150, somewhere up in there. Okay, so we get the return on it, but the investment on a doctoral degree is anywhere from 150 to 230 investment. That's what you're going to pay to get your doctorate. What you're going to pay to get a master's is almost 100,000. Nope, I take that back. To get a master's is 60-something thousand. So 60-something thousand plus 40-something thousand for the bachelor. So 60-something thousand. So here we go. And you can get a master's for under 12. I think the University of Phoenix is offering a master's program. You can do it in a year or so, and it's roughly around $11,000, $12,000. But we're still talking return on investment, right? The reason I'm talking about this is very few people are thinking about the investment of the education. They're thinking about, everybody says I need a degree. So I go out and I get a degree. And now I have, in most instances, if I don't have some way of getting scholarships or grants or things of that nature, then I am caught up in a place, in a situation in which I am taking out student loans. And these student loans add up. And one of the biggest forms of debt for people under 50 right now is student loan debt. And one of the hardest things to come out from under is student loan debt. It's one of the greatest money hustles created and endorsed and underwritten by the government. You have to understand what you're getting into. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look at how much am I paying for this piece of paper that I'm going to put on my wall, and how useful will it be? Well, I've interviewed over the course of the last 2 years, based on education on doing some studies for a book I was writing. Good, Carla. That's awesome. Keep up the good work and make sure that they're passing that message and that lesson down. I want to put that on there. This is so important. So here we go. And so you get this education based off of everybody telling you this. And I did these interviews, and the vast majority of people uh, never had to produce their bachelor's to get their job. Occasionally you've got to produce your degree and your transcripts and all that stuff like that to get the job you want. Now, when you move up masters and definitely doctorates, they're going to want to see proof and stuff like that. And then if there's enough work and you're referred, and there are a number of different ways where even not then. So a piece of paper that you may never even have to produce could easily cost you $40-something thousand. Now, that money that you're going to borrow to pay for this is building interest the moment that you graduate. And that creates this accumulative reverse in compounding. Remember, I've been telling you guys, one of the most effective tools to wealth building is indexing, which is compound growth. And so in compound growth, you are putting money into an index fund. There's just one way you can get compound growth. You're putting money into an index fund, right? And putting money into this index fund, it's growing and it's compounding on top of the interest and on top of what you're putting into it. And it's a great long-term vehicle for wealth growth. The reverse of that is compound debt. It's where you got debt that's accumulating interest in the reverse. So your debt is growing, compounding. It's being compounded upon itself. And that's what you get with student loan. And that's one of the reasons why it's so hard for people to get from underneath it. And then you have to say, okay, I'm going to have to take risks in this life to get on in this world. So that means that I may have to take out some debt in order to put myself in a better position to produce income or to produce revenue. Starting a business will, in many cases, require you to take a risk and go into debt. But the idea is that the rate that you're going in debt, you have to have a projected ROI, which is return on investment, that justifies the amount of debt you're going into. Now, the thing is, we live in a world where things are changing. And how we get down and what we do has to make sense based on the evolution of how the market looks. The job market is shifting. It's shifting rapidly. How things are done, how you're going to earn a living is changing. And it's not for the bad. It's just you're going to have to learn how to move in an environment where everything isn't about showing up, filling out an application, getting interviewed, and getting hired. The beautiful thing is, and that's one of the reasons why I push the 7-day online business courses, because you've got people out there with no high school education out earning the vast majority of the workforce with bachelors easily on social media, on doing a bunch of things there, whether you want to call them influencers, whether you want to call them content procurers, whatever you want to call them. There's so many different areas where people are literally seeking information, data, and experiences that these people have become experts in. They're the number one revenue generators on YouTube, and I'm talking in the multi-millions, are gamers. People who literally freaking sit in the basement and play games. Why? Because that's a big thing. Everybody wants to be a part of it. It's a great escape. People are actually sitting up, going and visiting. And the thing is, there's so many different ways to generate revenue as a YouTube content provider. As a YouTuber, I get YouTube revenue for the ads that I run on my videos. For other people, they pay to put ads on your videos. That's one way of revenue. Then as you grow and you build, you can also offer your own products as a part of your YouTube store. Then there is the YouTube super thank you and the YouTube super chat. So when people are coming in on your lives, they can literally spend money to exclamate their comment, so people sees their comment, and also a way to contribute to what you're doing, but showing a way of appreciation. And then you can promote, you can actually get other people and work out deals to promote, hey, look, this is what I'm doing, this is how many subscribers I have, this is how responsive my subscribers are to XYZ, and this is what I'm willing to offer you if you're a sponsor. And so you get sponsorships, you get all this stuff. That's just on one place, YouTube. Then you got all these other places, and that's just social media. That doesn't account for affiliate market, all these other things. And you get to control how you enter the market. You get to control what you're going to support, what you're going to do, what you're going to present. It's your business, it's your stream of income, and you can get in for little or nothing. And you can learn and grow and develop as rapidly and as fast as you want to. You put the energy, effort, and time into developing your expertise, your experience, and your knowledge to attract your fan base. That's one of the reasons why I'm so big on the 7-day online business launch, is because it's a lower cost of entry than a degree. I'm not telling you not to go to school. I'm telling you is, I just know so many people that, number one, aren't built for the college environment. Now, personally, I think as many people as can reasonably go and experience college, because it's more than just about what you're going to learn in the classroom. It's an experience. It's a part of moving and integrating into adult life. It is so many things that you get. You build lifetime friendships. You make business connections before you're ever in the business world. You create an environment where you connect, and so there's a part of that that's invaluable in so many different ways, but it's not the only path. So for people who think it's the only path and then they don't get there, there's a problem. For people who think it's the only path and then realize, I've spent 4 years of my life and $40,000 of either my money, my parents' money, or I've gotten into debt doing it. And now here I am, and this is what I'm getting paid. And then I've got to go out. I've got to get a home. I got to get a car. I've got to do all these things. And I realize that that money that I get with this degree doesn't get me very far. It's okay. The thing is, you should always be looking at, what can I do outside of the normal scope of things, because that's where money is made. Money isn't made within the confines of the structure. The structure isn't designed to enrich you. The structure is designed to use you to enrich the elite. And so if that's the entire system, the whole corporate system is built on top of the few taking advantage of the many to hold the power, hold the wealth, and to pay you just enough not to quit, to pay you what you know you need to keep a roof over your head, to keep you in a reasonably dependable vehicle to provide for your family. And for those who have really proven their worth and have really gone out and really got it, you guys get to be the cream de la crop, so to speak, the six-figure people, and everybody's looking at you and you're not realizing, if I'm paying you 6 figures, you are definitely earning me 7. And again, my thing is, it's not about me dissing people with jobs. It's about me saying, be careful how you prepare yourself, so that even if you're talking about entering the job market, you understand your value before you go in, and you demand your value, and you understand that your value isn't limited to who says, I'm willing to hire you. Your value is, if you're willing to hire me, then there's something I have to offer to the people who are coming to you. I don't have to go through you to offer it to them. I may not be able to get all of them, but what I realize, if I'm not giving you the vast majority of my value, then I can actually sit up and go out and actually get less people and make more money for myself. Now, there's a level of responsibility, a level of discipline, a level of consistency that has to be in place for that to happen. But these are some of the things. And why am I saying that? Because when I created Legacy wealth. This comprehensive course is, we've evaluated. I've brought in some other people to look at it, and we're not saying it's a 6-month course anymore. We're going to say it's 6 to 18 months. It's more like an 18-month to 2-year course, but there may be some people who are ready to go in and go all out and make it happen, and that's fine. Here is the dilemma for most people. We don't know how to value or evaluate opportunities, and we don't know what to trust. I get it. Here's what I can tell you. Any course that is going to prepare you, this course is the most comprehensive course I've seen on wealth building. It touches everything. All the things you hear me talk about in the last year, it touches that, and then everything else that I haven't had a chance to talk about. Talk about indexing, talk about asymmetric risk reward, talk about diversification across assets, talk about annuities, talk about indexing, talk about all these different things. Also talk about mindsets. And then you're going to have lectures and live videos of the people who do it the best, the top 25 investors of all time who are alive, and a couple who have left their mark and in impact that are no longer with us. But you're going to sit up and see how they do it, and you'll find out that you have access to the same mechanisms. You just don't have as much money, but you have to start somewhere. Some of the greatest performers are people who started with very little. My favorite story is about people who never made a whole lot of money, but who retired wealthy. And it's because they understand it's not how much you have, it's what you do with it. You could sit up there. I know people who are 6-figure who are paycheck to paycheck. I know people who never made more than $40,000 who are retired and have rental properties, have annuities paying them, income annuities, and so many more. It's about proper understanding of how things work and taking advantage of it. I know people who are effectively passing down wealth via the proper trust. And it's so much of this and all this, and I put all this in, and then I said, okay, what is it worth? It's priceless, because if you use it, you will literally be benefiting from it the rest of your life, growing, elevating, revisiting it and saying, okay, what can I implement now? In other words, implement 3 principles in it, and you're going to be better off financially. You're going to improve your ability and capacity to create and generate wealth for yourself. And it's going to start smallly in the way you create streams of income. But you're going to keep going. You're going to keep growing. And it doesn't matter when or where you start. A lot of people believe, okay, it's too late. No, it's never too. If you're breathing, it's not too late. Are you behind the 8 ball? If you start late, yes. But there are ways from getting behind the 8 ball. But more importantly, if you start now, you can start passing on what you're learning to the next generation so they get ahead of the game. And that's got to be a part of your idea if you're talking generational wealth. It's not just what you're going to bequeath directly. It's also what you're going to bequeath in the area of knowledge and wisdom and encouragement and planning and preparation for the next generation. In other words, Paw didn't do this. I want you to do it, because this is what can happen. This is how far ahead you can get. This is what you can have if you do this. No one ever told me that. No one ever told me if you start putting into an index fund at 20, by the time you're 40, you will out earn anybody who starts doing it at 40 and goes to 65. So in other words, they're putting in for 25 years, and you've only put in, you can put in for 20 years, start at 20, stop at 40, and you're still going to out earn them. Same amount of investments per month. Nobody told me that. Nobody told me that was an opportunity, but it is. So you want to go ahead and you're going to teach. So it's never too late to get started, because it's more than just what you can put in a bank account. And matter of fact, one of my biggest pushes when I'm talking about this is you don't want a whole lot in bank accounts. Cash, liquid assets are the most vulnerable and at the greatest risk right now. You want hard assets. You want things that have longevity and have long-term power and push. You want to be able to say what you're going to be able to have at your disposal 15 years from now, 20 years from now, 25 years from now, versus what the market is going to do in the valuation of the dollar. Now, obviously, some things are required. You need certain things. So That is extremely important. So the reason that I created Legacy Wealth was to say, okay, you don't have to spend $40,000 to put yourself in a good position to win. You don't have to go through the traditional methods of creating income for you and your family. You want to be in control as much as you possibly can. Now, I need to take a real quick break and digress for a moment. I am not in any way ever going to tell you that what I do is easy, or what the people that I work with have done has been easy, or that I have all the answers, or that I'm just sitting up and nothing. I'm telling you that I've had to fight. I'm telling you that I've had to work my ass off. I'm telling you that there have been some dark moments. I'm telling you that sometimes I close my day out and I'm going, what just happened? I'm telling you that there's work and there's risk involved. What I am also telling you is every day I wake up in control of my destiny. Nobody can fire me. And I live in a situation that's better than most. I'm not one that's bragging. I'm not finna sit up there and talk numbers, because sometimes the numbers I want to talk will blow your mind. Sometimes I'm sitting up and I'm going, shit, maybe I need a job. And I'm over exaggerating, but being your own boss, running your own stuff, being responsible for your entire finances is a responsibility. You have to wake up every day and be ready for it. You have to wake up every day and be willing to put in work. There's nobody going to cover if you call in. So you got to know when it's time to take off. How are you going to handle this? What you have in place, all these different things. But I wouldn't trade it for the world, because if I wake up every day and I put in the work, there are going to be some good days. There are going to be some bad days, but things are going to happen for me. Things are going to get better for me. Things are going to expand for me. I'm telling you, as a person who had to start over from scratch 13 years ago with, I mean, almost nothing. And I did it. And I'm still doing it. And my impact and reach, I have clients now in multiple countries. And there was a time that I was wondering where I was going to stay. After having an unbelievable successful run, life throws curves. Life throws curves. If you're not experiencing it in your finances, you're experiencing it in your health. If you're not experiencing it in your health, you're experiencing it in your relationships. Some of us get hit with the storms and it seems like it's happening all at the same time. You're not going to circumvent the vicissitudes of life. You're not going to get around and everything just be perfect and run smoothly and nothing goes wrong. That's not what life is about. How do you handle the rough times? How is your character reflected when things aren't going your way? Because how you respond to things when things aren't going your way is going to determine the outcome of your life. How much work are you willing to put in to what you say you want to be, what you say you want to have, what you say you want to do? It's one thing to wish for it. How you transform a wish into a manifested reality is the work you put into it, the consistency, the revisiting of the idea, the speaking of it in a way that you believe it, that you stand on it, that you walk in it, and you do not consult your circumstances, you do not consult your past, you walk in it. I had to digress from that because people say, what, so if I just do this, then that's all I have to do and everything. No, you're gonna have to put in work. But what I'm telling you is there are people out there that are no more gifted than you that have created streams of income online. When I did it, social media wasn't as big as it is now. When I did it, it wasn't as easy to build a website as it is now. I was messing around with HTML coding and all kind of stuff. I'm like, you got to be kidding. But I was determined that I was going to build a presence online, that I was going to expand my brand online, that I was going to make an impact online, that some kind of way I was going to find a way to work my way from what I was good at all the way to the things that I was passionate about and be willing to stay committed to it. That's the thing that you got to be willing to do. But what I'm telling you is I created Legacy Wealth. Um, the um, promotional price for the longest it was $9.97, and we took it up to a price because we had to get licensing for a lot of the stuff that we're putting on here that belongs to other people. We had to get licensing for it, videos and stuff like that, images and all the stuff, graphs and everything that had copywriting and trademarking. We needed to get licensing for it, so it cost. So we had to move it up to $25.95. But I tell you what, this weekend I ran a special, and just like the special I ran on the 7-day business launch, I'm extending this special for today. It's back down to $9.97. This is an 18-month course. This course is more powerful than any college course you can take. If you fulfill this course, it's more powerful, and it has a further reach and a further punch than any bachelor's degree you're going to get. That's a promise. And you can use it in any way you want to. And you don't have to ask anybody's permission to use what you learn in this. This is your experience. If nothing more, you're going to be able to teach yourself how to work and handle stuff. Number two, you're going to be able to teach your family members and the people you love. Number three, you can operate as a consultant and earn a living doing it, and you don't need anybody's permission. You can't advertise yourself as a licensed financial advisor, but you can say that you are a wealth consultant. Thing is just going off. But anyway, I'm going to close off. If for those who want to take advantage of it, look, cost-wise versus return on investment, no university is going to beat it. And no university is going to teach you this at this level, because the design isn't designed for you to build wealth and become independent and financially free. The design is to put you in this cycle of the rat race at different varying levels, whether it's at the poverty level, whether it's at the high income level. You're still a part of the rat race because you're depending on someone else, and they are controlling whether or not you are able to move and function. And the problem is, if you don't have the right mindset, you could have what people consider to be a good income and still be struggling because you don't understand how things work. When you think about the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, and he's talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad. One is his biological father. One is the father of a friend who pretty much took him under his wing and taught him everything he knows. The rich dad is the business owner, the business-minded person. The poor dad is that. Now, when you start to learn who Robert Kiyosaki is, you find out that his father was the director of education for the entire state of Hawaii, made 6 figures. But he's the one that Robert declares the poor dad. Why? Because he's capped out, number one, at the 6 figures he's earning. Number two, people tend to live very close to their means. Some live above their means. So what does that mean? You lose the job within a short period of time, you're destitute. Versus his rich dad, who initially started out running his business from his living room and became ultimately one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii. 2 different mindsets, 2 different approaches. Nothing's changed. How you think is going to determine how you move and how you operate. How you move and how you operate is going to determine the outcome of your life. I hope that I've shared something with you. I hope that it has given you something to think about. If you're serious about change, and if you don't have 2 streams of income, you need to sign up for the Legacy Wealth. It's for the remainder of the day, $397. It goes back to $595 tomorrow. Either way, it's a great thing. 7-day online business course. The Legacy Wealth course is for the remainder of the day, $997. It's going to $25.95, a fraction of what it's worth, because it's going to outperform your bachelor's. I promise you that. With a person with multiple degrees, it's going to outperform it. It's going to teach you how to leverage your degree or what you learned getting your degree, because it's the knowledge that holds the potential for power. The degree is this thing sitting on your wall that tells people you completed something. The level of mastery is what's most important, because I can take the level of mastery and I can apply it to any aspect, element of life, even outside of the field of expertise, and I can create value. That's the primary thing that you want to learn how to do in this world, is create value. When you create value for yourself, you start to write the check. Because if people want what you're offering, the only place they can get it is you. If you're operating in the uniqueness of your own experience, your gift, your expertise, all of that creates a unique experience, a unique brand. You could be doing something that somebody else is doing it, but you're not doing it how they do it because they're not you and you're not them. And they're going to have the people that like the way they do it, but you're going to have people who like the way you do it, who respond better to the way you do it. You're not trying to be everything to everybody. You're trying to be the best version of yourself that delivers the type of value that people respond to. And if you do that, you're not going to have to worry about it. You will write your check. You will get where you're trying to go. The thing is, you've got to be committed to being in the game and going the distance. I hope that really empowers you and refreshes you. On that note, I'm about to get out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I look forward to you people. Oh, please don't forget, everybody should be getting that guide, the digital guide, financial literacy for kids and teens, $9.95. It is a step-by-step process of teaching these babies what they need to know before they get out there and start messing with money. Definitely before they have their first job, how to get them started on their first income. All that stuff's in there. And it's $9.95. You get the digital download PDF version, and you also get the link to open up on your browser the flip book, which is fun, especially for younger kids, to flip through it like it's a book on a digital device. You get both of those. So on that note, look, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day.